guys, it's SJ. Welcome round and a happy Baby Name Monday to all of you. Are there any new pregnancy announcements or birth announcements? Let me know in the comment section below. This is Baby Name Monday. Every single Monday there is a new list of names for your baby, for your Sims, for your pets. I know. Do hit subscribe if you want to join the community, and make sure to join in as one of my baby name enthusiast experts in the comment section below, adding to this list, and do share with a friend who might be naming a baby and who would love to hear this name list. This week I have done names meaning heart, mind and soul. So I just think this is such a beautiful theme. We all kind of love name meanings, and especially these ones for like even for middle spots when you just want to have something that just means how much you love your children, or if you're naming twins, it's quite nice to link the names via meaning. But also I think with a name meaning, sometimes it just puts you from liking a name primarily because of the way it sounds to absolutely loving a name. And what could be better than heart, mind and soul for a little baby in your life? So I'm going to start with the heart names. There's boy girl names, there's tons and tons, so I'm going to go through them as quick as I can. So first up when it comes to heart names is the name Valentine. So Valentine's more used for boys. There were 22 boys named Valentine last year after St. Valentine's and Valentine's Day. And for girls we seem to go with Valentina, which is also really nice. And Valentine is quite high for girls. It was ranked at 239 and I really like it. I think it's really feminine, but I do like Valentine for a girl as well, just keeping it really simple. It's a bit more of a statement almost. It means healthy or strong, kind of from that family of names, but obviously St. Valentine's Day is what we all associate with love and professing your love, professing your love for someone else. And I think it's a name you, obviously if their baby is born on Valentine's Day, you can go with it, but I think any time of the year it's a really gorgeous name. Mabel, I wanted to put on this because it means lovable, but it's really on the rise here in the UK. It's just had its comeback. It's within the top 100 for the first time in years. It's at number 98. So I wanted to let you know the Welsh version, which is Mably. Isn't that really cute? It actually means adorable or lovable. And it's a little bit more unusual. So if you're kind of thinking, I love Mabel, but it's been used, it's been pinched by a friend, then you could go with Mably, which I really like. It's a Victorian name, and I think that all these names that are sort of coming back are kind of from that era. So there aren't vintage name lists on my channel, but I should do a Victorian one as well. Jebediah. What do you think of the name Jebediah? I don't know if you say Jebediah or Jebediah. What would you say? It's a Hebrew name meaning beloved. So like David as well actually means beloved, and Jebediah is the same kind of meaning. So I have a middle spot David for my son because it's a really strong family name all throughout the history of my family. And it's a beautiful name, David, but it's pretty much like everyone knows a Dave, but then no one knows a Jebediah, do they? Or do you? It's totally unranked at the moment in the UK, and I'm surprised because I feel like to me it's a bit like a Sebastian, with like Seb and Jeb as a nickname. Maybe it's just a little bit harder to say and pronounce. The AH ending's a bit like Noah. So if you're after a unique Hebrew name and you want the meaning of beloved, it's a great one for you. Also really surprised that the name Suzuki, which I absolutely love, one of my favourite names, is only at number 15. And I had this on my list, but me and Henrik have a really best friend called Suzuki. We're both mutually best friends of her, like at uni. So it's kind of like funny to name it after such a close friend. But I was really surprised to see it so low down. In Japanese, Suzuki means loved one. And I think it really is such a gorgeous name. I thought it would be higher up. I know there's a few different spellings of Suzuki, but would you go with it? Or is there a reason you think it's not higher up? I was really surprised because I know a few Suzukis. The name Milena, isn't that a beautiful name? It is a Czech name, and in Czech it means love, warmth and grace. So it's like a perfect trio of names. It is not very highly ranked here. It's at 467, so I feel like that's a lot of our sweet spots. Milena. I love Lena as a nickname. There is the YouTuber here, Milena Cicciotti, am I going to say that right, who I'm obsessed with. I watch all her videos. She's really lovely, and I think that she might even make the name rise in popularity because she's huge on YouTube, Milena. But I just think it's a beautiful name, really different because these L sounds like Ella, so popular. Eleanor, so popular. Milena, a little bit different and a bit quirkier. How about just the name Hart? I did look it up. You may know that recently I got a new middle name. So I changed my name by default. I didn't have a middle name, and it was kind of like a joke gift from my parents to me. So my middle names, I've got two. They're now Forest, because I'm obsessed with nature names, and Forest is one that I love the most. And then Hartwell, which is my nan's maiden name, Hartwell. So I thought it would be quite nice to bring Hartwell back, because there's no sort of Hartwells left in our family tree. So Hartwell now is my middle name, and Hartwell is lovely. It's kind of got surname as first name vibes. But Hart by itself, so I spell Hartwell H-A-R-T well, and H-A-R-T, there were 3 boys named Hart last year. Funnily enough, it's boys, obviously it's from the word heart, and there were no people called Hart, H-E-A-R-T, but they don't have the middle spots, so I'm imagining it might be more used in the middle, but I love it with H-A-R-T. I think it's really nice. You know, even if you like the name Arthur, it could be Art or Hart as kind of nickname, so I just think it is cool, but it is brave. So there's a couple of brave actually. Erasmus. So you've probably heard Erasmus. I'm sure it's like a rock band, isn't it, Erasmus? It comes from the Greek for meaning desired or beloved. So it's not ranked here in the UK, but over in Sweden, I do hear the name Rasmus without the E, and I think it's really cool. It's quite punky, it's quite cool, like the little Rasmus I know is quite trendy, so it is a really lovely name, but I do prefer it just with the R beginning, Rasmus. What do you think of it? Caradoc. This is my name crush at the moment. I'm really into it. For some reason, I love the nickname Carrie, I love the nickname Cara. Caradoc, I just think it looks stunning, whereas it means amiable or affection or big love for something. So we had this on the podcast recently for somebody who was looking to change her name as an adult. Where'd you get that crazy idea? Like me. My sister's calling me a Deedpole Diva now, because I do think I'm going to keep changing it now that I know I can, but she was looking for a more kind of gender neutral type of name, more strong name that wasn't it was a word more than a name. Caradoc is actually a name, but isn't it unusual and nice? I love the meaning of beloved, and I think if you've got a really traditional first name, so say you were Amelia Caradoc rather than Amelia Rose, you suddenly sound a lot edgier, and it gives you that kind of option. It's lovely that it means beloved, in my opinion. A little bit of an out there one. What do you think of it? And I couldn't do this theme without saying the name Loveday. If you know, my sister is my podcast co-host, and her second child is called Lottie Loveday. She ended up being born on Valentine's Day. I was her birth partner, which was really, really special. But Loveday, funnily enough, was always going to be her middle name. It's an old surname from where my sister lives in the Cotswolds, so she actually saw it on a gravestone, which is where a lot of you get your names. Really strange. We should do a little, I mean, I don't think it's respectful actually to go around the graveyard looking at names. But Loveday, that's where she got it, and then she was just like, wow, then there's lots of references to Loveday. There's Loveday Cottage and things around where she lives, and that became Lottie Loveday's middle name, and I know somebody else in our community has a Loveday as well. So moving on to names that mean mine. Cato. They're all pretty gender neutral, but this is traditionally a boy name. It's not ranked at the moment. It means intelligent or all-knowing. So when it comes to mind, a lot of these are about being wise and wisdom and thoughtful. And I feel like if you're an academic or you're just an introverted thinker, these will really appeal to you. Like they really appeal to me. Cato, it's a lot like Plato. I was a philosophy grad, if you didn't know. And I really like it. So Cato the Elder was born as Marcus Porcius. So he was a high-minded Roman diplomat living during the time of Julius Caesar, if that's the kind of fact you're after. There were 4 babies, I've said it's unwrapped, but there were 4 babies called Cato last year, I should say. And I think it's really nice. The O, we're obsessed with O names at the beginning or at the end. A lot of these end in O actually, because next up is Hugo. Perfect for this list, kind of inspired it because it means mind, being mindful. And I absolutely love it. Hugo was me and Henrik's 3rd boy name, but we had a daughter in the end, and we really like it. We find it really hard to agree on names, but for me it was really, really sweet. I actually like the fact that it has hug in it, so it's a bit like love. I was going to do like Huggy as a little nickname, which kind of what sold it to me, but I do love Hugo, and I like it in Scandinavian they say Hugo, so it sounds good in each language, and it's really, really nice. It's so starting to come back. It's at 53, which I think is a good place to be if you're like me, if you're in a couple and you need to have a really traditional partner and you're like, oh, what do I go for? Hugo, I do think, in my opinion, it was quirky and special enough for me, a bit like we liked Casper and Tobias and those types of names. But it means mind, which I think is really nice, and thoughtfulness. I think it kind of warms it up a little bit from being kind of just slightly in the UK on the upper class end, but not really around the world. Redmond. I liked this on this list. It's got only 3 boys were called Redmond last year, and we have done a whole surname as first name trend. But I thought it's really nice, and what's nice is it's basically a variation of Raymond. So if you've got Raymond in your family, or Ray, but I like Redmond. It sounds really cool. 3 baby boys named Redmond last year. It means wise protector, which I think is a really lovely name. Again, it could be middle school, like a James Redmond, whatever your last name is, but it sort of completes. The OND is really nice, and it's a little bit unusual, and I like the meaning of wise protector as well. It's got 2 nice feelings for it, especially if like a little brother, Redmond, like a little protector. It's quite cute. For girls, the name Vita. That's lovely, isn't it? And we've talked a lot recently around Vera and our vintage nicknames, one of our favourite vintage nicknames, and we've even talked about Vader coming back. So Vita, really interesting, it means intelligent. So again, quite a lovely name meaning to pass on to a daughter, intelligent. Manon, I think, is a French name for thinking, and I love that. I think it's really unusual, really nice. I think Manon with the O is maybe the feminine form of it. Let me know. Manon, thinking. I think that again is such a cool name. Sage is probably the one you've all been waiting for, which means wise. Super popular at the moment, kind of booming up the charts in popularity because it's sage green. My walls are actually sage green. I don't know if it's going to look grey on the camera, but I love the calmingness of sage green. I love the name sage. I love the herb, if I was American, the herb, sage. I like the fact that it's a herb, not floral. I love everything about it. As a name, you can guess who vetoed that, but I think it's gorgeous, and I know a few girls named Sage, and some people put the I in it, S-A-I-G-E, but it means wise. Athena is the goddess of war and wisdom. She's the daughter of Zeus. We're obsessed with goddess names at the moment. I've done a whole list here, especially for our girls, Freya kind of being the poster girl, but if you're kind of like, oh, I'm not sure about Freya, then you could go Athena, really powerful, really strong. Thea has been quite popular, so Athena works really well. It means wise, so yeah, it's a really cool girl name. She's strong, she's fierce, she's a goddess, and she's wise. That's what I want for my little girl. The name Quinn, I didn't know the meaning of Quinn was like counsellor or intelligent person, so somebody you would go to for wisdom and advice and help. Which is really nice, isn't it? Really nice, and I like the name Quinn. It kind of had its bit of a hipster moment, I would say about 5 years ago, where everyone was kind of going with Quinn equally for boys or girls, but it's kind of died down a tiny bit, but that's a good place to be in, so you're not using it at peak popularity. You wait until it's kind of got a bit cooler again. What about this name? Etelind. Etelind. So when I looked up the pronunciation, it doesn't use the ethel, the th, it was more Etelind because it is Germanic, so they don't have that sound. Correct me if I'm wrong, I do rely on pronunciations from Tinternet, which isn't the best place to get any facts apart from this baby name channel, of course. Etelind, I just thought that was so nice. I also like Etheline, but it's hard to know how you would say it. So it could be Etheline or Etelind. And it's the same as Adeline. Some people say Adeline, some people say Adelind. So it is one of those that the pronunciation, but if that doesn't bother you, because I think on paper, look how beautiful it looks. And you might have an Ethel in your family and not be sure about it. So you could go the longer, and it means intelligent. Lovely name meaning. Alden, I love, it was 10 boys named Alden last year. I absolutely think this is gorgeous for a first name for a boy, and it means wise friend. So I've always had it on like a little long list of mine, always would make it into my like top 50 of names I love, particularly because of the name meaning. And I think if you like those A Hebrew names like Asher, that's the one I was thinking of, because I liked Asher, but it was quite popular around my area, so I did sort of pop onto Alden for a little while. I loved the meaning of wise friends so much. And then Apollo. Apollo is the Greco-Roman god, he is, of wisdom and knowledge. Apollo is actually really rising at the moment. It's inside the top 1,000 at 952. And we talked the other day about really trending names, and Atlas was up there, really high, like within the top 500 now, Atlas. Crazy. So Apollo is kind of hot on its heels. It's got the O that we like, it's got the soft L. I think it's really wearable. Hopefully you do too. So moving on to names meaning soul. I feel like this is like really one of my favourite meanings. We did Sanskrit names recently, where I was talking more about these things that are more spiritual. And I think that as we've come through this pandemic, it is really important to us. And the one I absolutely love at the moment is the name Elmer. And I know we had little Alma just born here in our community. If you want to see all the birth announcements from this community and you haven't seen them yet, oh my gosh, there's so many, and they're all over on the Baby Name Envy Instagram. So Baby Name Envy is the podcast, and the Instagram Baby Name Mondays is here, because obviously those go up all the time. Every day we're on Instagram, and there's a little tab highlights called birth announcements. You can see all the viewers' babies, and they're absolutely amazing. I should do a whole special video where I just do the birth announcements. Maybe I'll do that one day. And Alma was one, it meant soul. It was used, which I'm so happy about. I just love it. It's a huge crush of mine at the moment. Joachim. There were actually, how many boys? 9 boys named Joachim last year. It's a tough one, but Joachim Phoenix has made it so that we can kind of pronounce it. And I think it's lovely. Like, I can spell it. It looks beautiful on paper. It means one with a passionate soul and reserved nature. So if that suits you and your family, then you could go with Joachim and be a bit trendy and out there. Enid is at 854 in the UK. It is such a rare gem. If you're loving all the ones that have come up, like the Mabels, like Elsie, no one's jumped onto Enid yet, even Etta's higher up, so just really have a think about it, because Enid Blyton, I just think, can't believe how low down it is whenever I look at it. It means soul, so it's Welsh origins, where it meant soul and life. So like the life and soul of a party. You don't imagine that being an Enid, do you? But I think that it could be like, you know, it's a gentle name, a gentle soul to me, kind of introspective type of person, but who's also got this real good spirit to them, which I really liked. The name Kitty as an abbreviation nickname, obviously long form is Catherine, but Kitty comes up as meaning pure, of soul. So where it sort of like means purity, lots of names mean purity, Kitty meaning pure of soul. And the vintage nickname is first name. Then the whole list, obviously Elisabeth now has confirmed that is a huge trend. The vintage nickname is first name. Kitty is right up there. The whole chart's are IE ending, crazy still, like Lottie's, Millie's, Maddie's, all of those. Kitty is so wearable, and it's a bit kitsch, but it's beautiful, and I love that it means pure of soul. I think it's so lovely. Like, I can imagine my daughter being called Kitty. Sanka, that's a nice name, isn't it? It means one who puts their heart and soul into everything, Sanka. And I feel like it's really nice. It's got 70s siren type of vibes to me, like maybe as a middle name again, if you were called, I love to be pairing these names, I should sort of start writing them, but say you were called Ophelia Sanka, or Penelope then Sanka in the middle, it kind of adds that edge to it as well, and makes it really on the vibe. It's like, wow, where did you get that name? And then a beautiful name meaning. It's unranked at the moment, being soulful. Who wouldn't want that to be their name meaning? This name is had on my list one time before. It's kokoro. So if you like the nickname Coco, which I absolutely do, and I love it with the K's, kokoro is the long form for it. It's Japanese, and kokoro, the word in Japanese, means soul, mind and heart. So your kokoro is your soul. So how cool again to have that in the middle. If you like Coco as a nickname, but you kind of think, oh, I wonder if I should go with something longer, kokoro. Beautiful word name. Japanese names really popular. I was thinking about the Japandi vibe. Have you seen that on Pinterest, Japandi, where it's Scandi Japanese? I was like, I wonder if I should do Japandi names. Like, that would be like a really cool mashup. I love the name at the moment, Rhapsody. So bear with me, I know it's the word that means music, and I was trying to find music names for a musician I was doing a name consultancy with recently, And I really like saying rhapsody, like Bohemian Rhapsody, of course, but a rhapsody is a music, but also it's a music that gives you this happy feeling. So I felt like that speaks to your soul. It's not quite a soul, I know, but kind of soul music, maybe I can sort of edit in there. Rhapsody, just wanted to share it with you because I think it is really cool. Like we have melody, we've got lyric coming up. No one is using rhapsody, so it's a out there gem. The name Elmer for boys, isn't that a cute one? It's kind of like a vintage American name to me, Elmer. How cool. We don't use EL sounds for the boys, we sort of reserve them for the girls. I think Elmer is literally making me just think it is so adorable. But I can just see a little cheruby little boy. Imagine my little Finn, if you knew him, he would be such a cute Elmer. It means one who has a noble heart and soul. So I think that is just so cute. So sweet. And the last one I have, which means fire in your soul, which I thought was cool, is named endellion. Endellion. It almost looks floral, doesn't it? Like dandelion, endellion. But I really liked that, so if you're looking for a long middle name for a short first name that has a bit of edge and a bit of cool and that fire in your soul, endellion is the one for you. Thank you so much for listening. Do head over to the Instagram for all those birth announcements and to check out daily inspiration. There's loads of quick polls on there, so mum's asking for really quick advice, or parents to be, where it's like this name with that name, this spelling with that name. That's every single day on stories. You can really have fun over there and get loads of ideas as well. The podcast is now live as well. That is me and my sister, and we are answering all your babying dilemmas. Thank you every single person who listens to the podcast. It means so much to me and my sister. It was just like a little lockdown project and a way of kind of getting more involved with you guys as a community and giving back as much as we can by answering all your dilemmas. And it's loads of fun as well. It's really upbeat, it's really chatty, it's a bit silly between me and my sister, so I would love you to go and listen to that. And if you do, leave a rating and review for it. Lots and lots of love, guys. I will be back on Monday with another name list. Lots of requests for Shakespeare names, so that will be coming up. Any more requests, keep popping them below. And I'll see you very soon. Bye, guys.